What's up, Rocket Nation, and welcome to a very special edition of Rockets Classics. Today, I am joined by some members of the 2019 State Championship team, Girls Volleyball. We have Lila Carr, Karen Nye, and Ellie Streeper, and finally, head coach Courtney Tedesco here with me. So we're going to take a trip down memory lane and relive all those exciting moments of that run. How are you guys today?
Good.
Good.
Yeah.
Excited?
I'm excited to be here.
Yes. Happy to be here.
Can you believe it's almost been 3 years?
No.
Absolutely not. I think the pandemic really made things go by way fast.
Yeah.
You know, blink of an eye, and now we're all in college.
Oh gosh.
All right, so we're gonna start off with the Division I Central West semifinal game against Concord Carlisle.
Yes.
Okay.
I'm sure you guys all know already what set I'm gonna be talking about.
Oh yes.
Set 2, where it went pretty high. I'm not gonna spoil it yet, but we're gonna pick it up right now with things tied at 25.
Good job, Kristen, being there.
There we go.
They haven't deferred, not yet, and Daly serve is up. They set up their no-hitter, and they get a point on the 10 line.
Oh, it's good back and forth action.
Oh,
They misjudged that. They misjudged it, and there's an ace. Timeout by Coach Shaloff to make sure that.
All right, so at this point, we're down 27-26. Only one more point and Concord Carlisle wins. So I'll go to you, Coach. What are you saying in that timeout?
I feel like honestly, I was just trying to keep us pretty calm and composed. I mean, when you have sets that just get that, heightened and that tight, you just have to stay calm. But you also have to play to win. If we're just going to send free balls over, it's not going to work. You have to go on the attack on those moments. So my guess is that's probably exactly what I was saying, a combo of those two things. Yeah.
All right, now I'm going to go over to you guys. How are you feeling in that moment? Only one more point. You guys can't make a mistake. What's going through your heads?
I remember I was so stressed. Or just throughout the entire game, I was like, I think that point that we just lost with us playing it safe and trying to hope that it was going out is not the way that we should have played. So I think having coach give us a little pep talk and saying that we have to attack the ball and kind of play how we normally play, just having that ground us, and so we don't get swallowed up by the whole stress of the fans chanting and us oh my God, we're about to lose this set, instead of having the mentality that we need to just keep playing like we normally play.
Honestly, it's you're freaking out in the inside, but you gotta keep calm and cool for your teammates. Try and seem like you're not freaking out. But definitely coach always I feel has a good mix of calm, cool collectedness and knows when to push us.
I also feel you're very good at that, kind of hard on the outside, freaking out on the inside. I feel I'm not as good as that, so I was probably screaming or having some sort of very visible, chaotic reaction to the score. But I also remember there was one moment where I was at the net and I kind of let my eyes wander for a second, and I just saw all of our parents just beside themselves, what is going on? My mom is and I just remember that those kind of high adrenaline moments are just so special, and nothing really compares to something like that. That's so high intensity. And obviously we knew what happened. We know what happens now, but just reflecting on that just kind of brings back some of those feelings of excitement.
Well, we're going to get back to looking at some of that now. So we're going to pick it up now with the Patriots leading 29-28.
Nye with a good pass. Carr again tips it over. Johnson on the net to save it. This time Scala's going to push it over. Back row hit. Nice job by Scala to be there. Sets up Carr.
What a point!
Absolutely.
Woo! My heart was beating up here.
Over.
Another great block by Aji as she comes in and
Scala just to get it over. Push over. Scala's there. Streep is going to be there to save it. Now we'll have a free ball over the net. Again, they set up their outside.
What a great save by Nye.
Scala. They block it, able to recover. Nice job by Streep.
Oh, wow. What a another great point.
Kristen gets the serve. Ajay gets the kill. Flip kill over. We're going to set up Nye.
Yeah!
And the Rockets
Woo,
take the
how
set.
appropriate again, Nye.
Absolutely.
Nails the winner for a 30-31 set. Wow.
Like everyone's voice was gone after that.
Oh my gosh.
We like to keep it interesting at
Yeah.
Needham Girls Volleyball.
Yeah.
Even look at last year, all 5-set matches.
Oh my God, yeah.
33-31 is probably the longest volleyball set I've ever watched. I don't know if it's the longest you guys ever played, but you know, what did it just feel like to, first of all, win that, but just have that set over with too?
Sorry. I remember like those last couple points I had just been subbed off, and one thing, like, I loved playing right side and I loved like that position. It was so special to me, but like I felt like every time that there was like something really like important or a really important couple points, like I would get subbed off right beforehand, and I'd always just be like so high on like the adrenaline and everything that, you know, being on the bench, I was just it was electric. It was just like so fun, and to watch, you know, to be able to watch instead of play is like a different experience. But it was just so exciting, so fun to be. It felt like you won the game after you won that set, because if you can win that set, you can win the game. I think we kind of knew that after that set.
Piggybacking off of what you just said, that was only the second set, so you still had 2 more sets to go.
Yeah.
How do you like compose yourself and try and focus on the next 2 sets?
Yeah, that was hard because it's like obviously we had so much momentum after that set, but it's also really easy to have kind of what we call like a hangover set after that when you have such a big, you know, like, you know, as you said, energetic, exciting win. It's almost a little easy then to kind of let your guard down a little bit more. Like inevitably the other team has a little bit more of that like chip on their shoulder now. So I think for me, that's what made me a little nervous. Like obviously I was pumped and psyched that we won, but it's like, can we take that and just keep building off of that momentum instead of just dipping after that? So I was glad we were able to do that.
What about you guys?
Well, I mean, those sets are just exciting because I feel like it brings like the team closer together. I mean, in the moment, you're like freaking out about like the next point and like try not to drop those points, but after, like on the bus ride celebrating, like those are the best parts where you're just with your team and like wow, we did that. Like it was, the bus rides are what I'll probably remember from that.
I think, well, I did get the last kill of the set, but I just remember like it was already past 25 when I went into the back row to serve, and I was like, okay, like this is it. I just need to like play good defense, and then we'll get it over with. But then like towards the end, I like went back to the front row, so I was like, okay, now is game time. Like every time I get set the ball or the ball comes to me, like I have to like play with a purpose and play not just to like keep the ball in play, but to like end it and to like make sure that like everyone's like hard work and stuff for that whole set like will carry through, and like we will have like pulled through for that set. So I think after that set I was exhausted, but I think the adrenaline kept me going and like kept the whole team going for like the next few sets.
It kind of reminds me of like when someone goes for like gets a crazy dig, and you have to get that ball over the net once they get that crazy dig. It's like it's the same thing with that set. Like everyone put everything into that set. Like you gotta like pull through for all those people who like really put themselves on the line to like get those balls over the net and everything.
I just remember, you know, I was announcing that game and I was feeling intense, so I couldn't even imagine what you guys were feeling. But you guys did end up winning that game in 4 sets, which put you in your first Division I Central West section final, which actually was the last one ever since they moved to the state championship format.
Lasting legacy.
Yes. which I'm sure you all remember the game.
Never forget.
What was I wearing? Oh, do we?
So we're going to head to that one next. And this one, it's quite the story. We know how it ends, but we're going to start with the first 2 sets, which I'm sure you guys don't want to watch, but we're going to watch anyway.
Set, tip over, Daly's there. Kirsten's gonna have to set it. Scala, good job recovering. That's gonna be 2 hands, unfortunately.
Ashley McDermott back to serve. Johnson to Ajayi, blocked. And Hopkinson will take the first set, 25-21, close first set. But
I actually don't even know if I've seen her do it maybe
that's
once
what
or
I'm saying,
twice.
yeah.
Because like her body wasn't in the right spot, not because it was planned. Which Hillers are now at game point.
Daly goes.
9. She tried to tip it that time, but just didn't work.
Well, I think it was the setup there on that one too.
So before we get to set 3 and set 4, let's talk a little bit about how you guys were feeling. You're down 0-2, sectional championship. You know, it's for a big moment. You know, what is the mantra and the motivation to get you out of your mindset that you're down 0-2 and you need to win the next 3?
That was kind of like the start of like, you know, we will because we can. That was like kind of like that mantra really came alive. I mean, it was something we preached all season, but it was kind of like now it's actually time to put this into practice. You know, I think there were a lot of people in the stands who probably thought the game was over. I mean, I heard that from fans, from family. They were like, yeah, you know, you had a great run. We were proud of you, but we kind of figured, you know, that was it. And I remember after, you know, that second game, us going to the huddle being like, you know, why not us? Like, why can't we win this? Why can't we, you know, take everything that we've done, take, you know, all the training, all the mental work, all the physical work, and actually apply that? Because right now, everybody else has counted us out, so we can't count us out, right?
Well, it's one thing for your coach to give you motivation, but you guys actually have to apply it. So how did you guys manage to build yourselves back up?
I mean, I also think the coach had like one saying that was like, never doubt yourself, never doubt your team. And I think that was really big. I also remember like Olivia Scala at that point really stepped up and gave us a big boost of energy. And we kind of all came out of that huddle like super ready and pumped, you know, like it didn't matter what happened. It was kind of a new blank slate. This is set 1 again. Like we're gonna just come out swinging and not afraid that like, oh, this one mistake will like cause us to lose a point or lose the set. Like there was none of that kind of mentality. And I think a lot of the training that we did during the season helped us. Like the marathon drill, I just remember that drill really like kicked my butt. But it was so helpful because I mean, we were getting tired, but that training really like allowed us to keep pushing through.
Yeah. Totally. I remember, I mean, after the game, I had some family that lives in the area who came to the game, and they weren't there after the game, and I was like, where's our family? And they had left after the first 2 sets because they were like,
no, I heard that from a few people.
They had left because they thought that the game was over, and like I remember just being like, wow, they had no idea like we could come back. But it was one of those games that like I will never forget because those first 2 sets we were down so bad, and I remember like going into that huddle, I was just completely in my head. I wasn't playing well at all. And I was having a really hard time hitting into the court, like let alone, you know, scoring, but just hitting in. And I remember their fans were like chanting my name, and like I would hit out and they'd say, Lila Carr, do it again, because they had like the roster, and I was just like, oh my goodness. And I remember like it was little moments of like, let's say I had dove for a ball and like someone helped me up, or like the little moments where you're on the court with your teammates and they're like, you got it. And we go into the huddle, and I remember like you had some really like strong motivational things to say that I just was like, okay, I can do this. Like I know how to play volleyball. We all know how to play volleyball. Like we got this. We have an opportunity. Let's take the opportunity. So, and that's what we did. So,
Guys,
let's see.
Definitely did take the opportunity. So let's see what exactly you just said. Let's check out sets 3 and 4.
punch over. Streeper's there. Nye again. Streeper gets it up. Kirsten follows up, and it's a free ball over. Good job by the Rockets. And they're going to get a point off it. Again, they get it over. Kirsten's there. Jensen's going to tip it. She does a great job at recovering those. Nye goes through the hands of the Hillers. Pass. Nye again.
And guess what? She goes right. That's the.
Streeper gets it up. Daly dot. Nye.
Oh my God.
Who else but Nye?
And a block, and that's gonna get down for the Rockets.
Streeper gets it up. Aji kills it, and that's gonna do it. The Rockets take set 3, and they're not done yet. Hopkinton do whatever they can to recover. Streeper does the same. And Nye's saying, you're gonna give me a third chance, I'm not gonna waste it. Daly over to Nye, and again!
Morgan Allen to serve.
Nye is like, that's not what I meant to do, but it worked out. Serve is good. They set their middle, McDermott. Nye gets it up. Streeper has enough time to track it. We have free ball over. This time they go their outside. It's tipped. Streeper gets it. They bump set it. Nye's going to take it from the 10-foot. Streeper again all over it.
Daly
Nye
to
from
Nye.
the 10-foot again.
She got it.
That'll do it.
Oh my gosh. Looking back, I'm like, oh no.
Oh my God, Karen, I don't think I've ever seen you get that.
Yeah, I think that was like probably.
But that was
So
such a
excited.
good
Yeah.
example of like not being tentative. Like
Yeah.
you were in the back row and you went for the kill. Like that was huge.
So let's take it with set 3. You guys changed your motivation so fast you can see you're a completely different team. After you took that set, did it feel different after you were down 2? Like, did the energy change for you guys?
Totally. Shift in motivation, shift in momentum. Like, it was almost like we switched places with our opponents. Like, they were up, they were really high energy, they were going for everything, and then the next 2 sets we were like, oh, we're gonna take that. We're gonna take that on right now. Yeah.
I mean, I remember being like, between the second and the third set, like, if we're gonna go out, might as well just like leave it on the court, you know, like leave everything we got, cause like it was a great team, and like to have grit and to like push through those first 2 sets was like kind of the way we all wanted to end, if it was gonna end, and then
We didn't want it to
I mean,
end.
we
didn't
really
want
didn't
it
want it
to
I
end,
think
but
the thing is like, like that last set was like, we had nothing to lose. Like we were kind of like pushed into a corner, but like, and we just had to like fight our way out. And I think it was kind of, it was like what Ellie said, like there's really nothing for us to lose, because either we go forward or our season ends there, you know? So I think after we won that third set, it was like, oh, we actually can do this. It's we can, well, we will because we can. And that was like proof that if we kind of switch our mentality and if we play without being afraid, like the good things can happen, and we can kind of pull ourselves out of the trenches and kind of fight towards that win, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so after set 4, you're obviously tied. So what are you telling your team heading into a 2-2 situation?
Honestly, the same thing after set 2. You know, it's like at that point, it's not over. You know, obviously the momentum and the pendulum did swing back the other way, which was helpful. I mean, it's scary sometimes as a coach to be up 2-0 in a tight game like that, and then you drop the third set. Like, I can't tell you how many games I've seen where a team has been up 2-0 and then lose in 5. You know, and it's like, obviously we did have that momentum on, you know, on our side, and it was definitely a good advantage for us. But for them, now they just lost the last 2 games, so it's like, why couldn't they do the same thing in set 5 as well? So it's like, at that point, anything is still up in the air. So it was just taking what we had been saying. I mean, I think that whole huddle before set 5 was like, we will do this, we can. We're like, it just, that was the mindset. It was like there was no other option.
So let's head to set 5 and see how we finished out.
Nye, nice pass. And Scala again. She's not going to waste that one. Great hit by Scala.
I think it might have been going out too. That'll get down.
Get another one, and she's going to stare right in the eyes of her fans and put her hands up.
Good pass. Nye with the back row hit. Into the net.
They go on the right side again. And again, it does not work out for them. I don't know why they keep going to their right side. Nice pass. Gonna go to Nye.
1 point away. Serve is up. It's over. Daly passes.
Jensen's gonna hit it. And that's
down.
gonna do it, ladies and gentlemen!
Needham is your D1 Central West champions. They just crowd in pig pile in the middle of the court. What a game, what a comeback. This team never gave up. And they complete the comeback in 5 sets to win it 3-2. What a way to go out, Kristen.
Wow.
So first I want to hear from all of you what it feels like being in a set 5 in that type of atmosphere.
I mean, it's a lot, you know, you do have to kind of refer back to the training you've done all season. You know, whenever we go into playoffs as a team, it's not about necessarily doing new things and crazy things and changing everything. It's, you know, taking what we have built on as a team all season long, having a really strong foundation and continuing to build off of that. And I think that, you know, 2019 team just did such a good job at that. Like everything they had worked for all season long, physically, mentally, emotionally, their chemistry as a team. I mean, I think that was one of the most exciting things for me in playoffs was you could see that team's chemistry. Like it was like this unspoken, you know, just bond that they had together. Whether they were best friends off the court or not is not even really the point. It was just like when they were on the court, the bench, the whole group, you know, we kept calling it like a village, right? It's like a village, this whole, you know, family. And I think you can really see that in this playoff run.
What about you guys? First section title in program history.
Crazy feeling. It's just like, it's, again, nothing compares to that kind of like, everyone's rooting. It feels like the entire town is like rooting for you, your families, you know, the bench. I think for me, like during that game, just looking over at you, at coach, just saying, like, she had the smile, and I just like, just having someone that you know believes that you can do it changes everything, because there are so often times that like I didn't believe that I could do it, but like I needed someone else to like believe in me, and then I could like prove that I could to them that I could do it, and that we could do it, and just being part of that, you know, legacy is like, it's crazy. It's a dream.
I mean, I felt like the 5 sets, like after the battle, it just brings like the whole like Needham community closer. Like everybody was like after people would come up to me like from the like game who I like talked to a little bit in class, but they're like, great job, and it just like made me feel so good about myself. And I was like, it was great to see like the support for the Needham girls volleyball team.
And I think was it our only 5-set game that season? It might have been, or like one of the very few 5-setters.
Yeah, been the only one.
Yeah, I think like, I don't know, it just took another, like a whole different level of, I don't know, something, you know, like there was something in the water that day. That
It got real.
It got,
it got real.
So real.
Like at that point, it got real.
And I like remember like, I think throughout the regular season, we'd been cruising, like, it was like a pretty like easy, or like easier time for us. I think we lost that first scrimmage to KP, but then after that we kind of like no more. And I think like the Concord Carlisle game and then like this game were kind of like our main two like times when we faced huge challenges, and to be able to like pull out of that stronger and like alive and like so pumped, you know, I think that really helped us push towards like our next 2 games and like actually finally winning that.
It was a hurdle for sure.
It was a huge
But like
hurdle.
the fact that we could get over it was
So
such motivation.
rewarding. So
Yeah.
Battle tested before, you know.
Totally.
Real.
True.
The
I
one
felt
for
like
everything.
anything after that was like a cherry on top.
Yeah, totally.
Like that
Totally.
felt so great. And it wasn't even like we were just like complacent at that point, like, oh, well, now we lose, whatever.
Yeah.
But like it did kind of have that feeling to me. It was like we just, you know, made program history. We just worked so hard. Like anything after, I was like, this is just the cherry on top.
Especially for that game, I remember being like one of the last people to leave the gym.
Oh, yeah.
The whole, like all of the fans, all of the people working at the high school that we were playing at, like had left, and I just remember like trying to soak up as best as I could, like that feeling and that energy, and like not wanting to leave that moment, because like it doesn't come around. Like games like that don't really happen a lot, and when they do, it's like so special. So special.
Yeah, definitely a core memory for the rest of my life, like forever. Those feelings of like stress, but then also like exuberance and like excitedness is just like never.
Oh yeah, they'll
leave.
never forget that
Never.
game. I'll never forget that game. Like that is deep.
I'll never forget that game. All right, but there is one more game following that that was pretty special too. So after you guys had won the section title, you went on to play Boston Lion in the state semis. You, I don't want to say blew past them, but
that was a rough game. I remember.
Well, we did go 3-0.
We did go 3-0, but it was. There was something that was.
It was a slightly weird vibe, I think, because we had just come off of such this monumentous thing and so much energy that I think it was a little like, wait, now what is that? Like it felt
like an awkward step.
Yeah,
totally.
It's like we have to like do that to get to the state final. You know?
Yeah. Wasn't as like, it was a little anticlimactic.
Yeah,
the next one.
So that brings us to our next one, which is the state championship versus the North champ Winchester.
Yes.
So let's check out the first couple sets of that.
They'll go to Nye on the outside. Smart move. She has her first real kill of the game. Off the chin of Lou, but they recover, and Nye gets another kill through the hands of 21, Tian again.
Up with it.
Nice pass by Lou. Carr gets a chance.
And that will do it.
So we'll close out the first set. Rockets win 25-22. Another opportunity. Stations will set up Toscas right down in the back corner. 21-17. Tips it. Carr is there. And we'll go to Nye again. See if she can do it this time, and she does. Ooh, tip over.
And it works.
Goes through the hands of Jensen. Hit from the back row is out. So 24-23 now. Nice serve over. Nye is there. Carr will try cross-court kill. Stations recover. Back row kill for them. Rockets on top of it. Carr will try again. Goes into the net. So Sachems take set 2, 25-23 after Rockets.
But that was a great set.
Yeah.
Like I wasn't even, you know, like that was a good set, and
I don't think we were like too stressed or like.
Yeah.
I don't know, like out of control.
Just kind of answered my next question. So how was it feeling being tied? How were the nerves actually in an atmosphere like that?
Well, I mean, I think the first thing, like when we first stepped in the gym, like we've never played in a gym of that magnitude or with that many people watching us. You know, we knew that like there are cameras or there are so many people and like newspapers are going to write about this game, you know. So I think there were a lot of like nerves coming in, but then it was kind of like once the game started, like switching those nerves off and like playing like we knew how to. I think at the very beginning, we played a little tentative, like most games. I feel like that makes sense because like I don't think either of those the teams had been in a state final before. So like having this new experience and kind of like trying to enjoy it while also playing competitively was like a really cool experience.
I remember there was so much buildup to that game. Like even just that day. Like I remember I went on a walk. I like needed to like calm myself down. I woke up like nervous and shaking and like, you know, shortness of breath like the entire morning, and I had to like actively do things to try and calm myself down. And then, you know, the buildup of the bus ride and, you know, the bus ride itself, and you know we're trying to hype ourselves up, but we're also like so nervous and getting the badges, and there were so many little moments that I was like, this is actually happening. And then even like walking out and standing on the end line and like listening to the national anthem, I just remember like there were so many nerves. And then the second that game started, like I was like, oh, I know how to do this. We all know how to do this. Like
Just
it's just another game.
Yeah.
Like we can all do this and we can do it well, and that's why we're here in the first place. So that was just so exciting to just have all of those nerves. But then they all kind of washed away, and I was like watching the crowd like be all nervous, and I was like, why are you guys so nervous? I mean, like, we got
They were
this.
feeling what you were feeling all day.
Yeah.
I mean, I feel like, it's like they said it. It was like once the first whistle blew, it was like, oh yeah, we know how to do this.
Yeah.
You have these moments. I mean, I have them as a coach. I'm like, I think I'm going to forget how to coach.
Yeah.
I'm like, how do I do this?
Yeah.
You know, and you feel like you're going to forget how to play. Like you just have these like irrational thoughts. And it was like literally when the first whistle blew, I was like, we're good.
Yeah.
You know, like we're in a great place. I also remember before the game, maybe you guys don't remember this, I like walked into the locker room because I was saying we got to start heading down, and they were all like in the locker room like taking selfies together.
Yeah,
So like in the mirror taking pictures.
Oh my gosh.
And honestly, but like I remember being so happy about that. I was like, okay, like there's my team. You know, like they're not, you know, doing like visualization. They're taking mirror selfies, but like, you know, it was good because there's a lot of them.
Yes.
But you know what? It was so true to them. It was like that's what I was saying. Like their chemistry, their bond. You know, it was just so cool to see them all in there together, getting excited together. So I was like, okay, I think they're ready. You know, I think they're in a good place.
Yeah.
Ellie, you were only a sophomore when this was happening, and you were playing such a big role as the libero at the time. You know, how were you feeling? How was it helpful being around, you know, upperclassmen?
I mean, like these two said the nerves went away like after the game started, but for me, I was like nervous the whole time. I was
I don't know what you guys are
freaking out. Yeah, I was like, my experience. But I was like, it was this weird mix of like nervousness and excitement, like the whole game. Like I remember taking like the mirror selfies, but then also like feeling like when we walked into the gym, just how like big it was, the lights and the two bleachers on either side. Like that was a lot, definitely. But like I had like great like role models to look up to. I remember the upperclassmen. Like, I mean, it was just a great team to be on.
So you guys were so fun to cover, but we're not done yet.
Yeah.
All right, so let's check out set 3.
They set up Carr, strong kill, block goes out of bounds. Carr tries again, and same result.
Maybe they should start chanting "Feed the Beast" for her.
Again.
Wow, great job by her. She went to the...
And I will try again. Tips it over, and to work out for her. That brings us to game point. This time Lou makes a good pass. And they're going to go over to Nye. Cross-court kill is saved. The freshman does it.
Wow.
Bounce.
24-23. Why did you have to predict that, Kristen?
Push it over. They're just going to keep going to Nye until it works for him.
And it's going to, I think, on that point.
Wow.
Woo!
All right, so let's talk about the atmosphere a little bit. Does the craziness of the gym help you, like hype you up, or do you try to like tune it out?
Both.
Yeah.
Both.
I think it's kind of like an on-off switch for me. Like I can't be listening to what they're saying because either I'll get too overconfident or I'll be like stressed about what they're thinking of me or like how I'm gonna play and like if I'm gonna match their expectation. But like that's like not what like I'm supposed to do. Like we're supposed to play for ourselves and our team, not for the validation of other people and our fans watching. Like it's so great to have them support us, but in like really important moments, I think it's also important to like channel like the strength from within and not just the loudness from the atmosphere. Because like the echoing, you know, it's really crazy, and sometimes it can get a little like overwhelming. And I think like during the bench times, like it's great to like interact with the crowd and like kind of bounce off that energy. But in like during plays, like kind of looking to each other and looking at yourself to like what you know how to do is kind of the most important.
Yeah. I remember it was like an on-off switch for me. Like during the game, you like tried to tune the like the crowd out. Like during the point, you wouldn't hear what they were saying, and then as soon as like the rally ends, you did something good or something, and then you hear like fans cheering for you. It was just like a great feeling.
I remember like specifically in that game, like it's so easy to pay attention to what everyone else is screaming about or, you know, outside of the court. And I just remember I was up at the net, like getting ready to block, and I was looking at the corners of the side that I was facing. And I was like, okay, if I can just focus on what's inside this rectangle, that I can then we can win this game. But if I start to pay attention to what's outside, and just something about visualizing okay, everything I need is right in here. And there's a lot of chaos out here, but and it's good chaos. It's the kind of chaos we want as players, but it's also it's really easy to get swept up in that. So I was just kind of trying to ground myself and focus on what's right in front of me. But it was an amazing experience all around.
I think my phrase to the girls in that game and perhaps a few games before was put earmuffs on. You know,
exactly,
let some of the energy come through. Don't have full noise canceling headphones on, because you want, feed off that energy. Like Lila said, the community support, that playoff run was unreal. It really was. And I remember saying to the girls, we should be proud of that. We should be really proud. We should be celebrating that. We should be happy with that. So put those earmuffs on. Let the energy feed through, but tune out everything else, the specific comments, the taunting, whatever it might be. That's when, like you said, you need to stay in that rectangle and stay just with each other. So I think they were able to do that.
Yeah, definitely.
So you're now only one set away from a title, which I'm sure is nerve-wracking while you're in the experience. But for you, I'm sure you're excited too, but you're in charge of calming them down. So what is that like?
I mean, it was definitely finding a balance. It's inside, I'm oh my God, we're gonna do this, we can do this. But exactly, you can't, like I said, you can't change. You can't all of a sudden, I'm not going to change my coaching style. I'm not going to change what I'm saying to them. It's the message has to be consistent. And even though, we were so close, you could taste it. It's you can't let that get the best of you. You have to take that, let it fuel you up, get excited, but still stay calm and composed until point 25, because volleyball is a crazy game. We could be up, and we were up a lot in that, in that fourth set, but still, it's you never know.
All right, so with that being said, let's head to the fourth set.
Great serve. Over to Tazgaz. Scala's turn. This time she finally gets one, and she's pumped up. Pushed over. Gonna try again.
And Scala's coming alive.
Yeah. Nice serve over. It's tipped, but Strieper recovers it. Set up, Scala.
Yes, Scala! Woo!
Wow! Set up, Audrey, straight down! So, game point now. Lou's serve is good. Tip it over.
And there it is!
As the Rockets pile in the middle.
Ladies and gentlemen, your Needham Rockets state champs. Look at the principal down there in the middle of the pile, jumping up and down with the athletic director, Michael Jackson, assistant athletic director, Michael Jackson. What a great victory for them.
Absolutely. What a great season, a great way to finish out an undefeated record. Rockets win the D1 state championship for the first time in school program history.
So we've gone through 3 pretty big games, and this is all in one state championship run, and have it to end like that, how satisfied were you?
I mean, another thing we haven't really touched on is those were our last games with those girls, those seniors. And so that was, I remember feeling towards the end of our run whoa, this is all gonna shift next year. And it's not gonna be bad, it's not gonna be it's not bad or good, it's just different. And I remember really trying to just soak up those last moments with those seniors, because we all had really special bonds with them. But I just remember that being kind of sinking in during that game, and I was like, this is the last game that we're gonna play, period, with this team and with these seniors. So just trying to make every point count. And I remember driving back with Olivia Scala, who we've mentioned, and I got ice for my shoulder, and like, I don't know, I was just very, like, I was stalling, like leaving, just because I didn't want those moments to end and everything. And then we got in the car and we were like, I feel like we've played better than that. It's just so funny to like get to that moment, and you know, like it's all you work for your whole, you know, high school career is to be in those moments. And then we were there and we were like, I feel like I've had better games than I've, you know, than that, or, you know, but it's the moment that counts. It's like the magnitude of that moment that counts. So, but it was just funny to reflect and be like, it's so interesting how that works, you know? Sometimes your best games aren't the most important games, and, you know, but.
Or they are, but they're not the ones
or
that
exactly.
like, the brightest spotlight is shown.
Exactly, exactly, yeah.
I mean, I don't know. I just remember feeling so exhausted because, like, if playoff season is just like game after game after game, like maybe 1 or 2 practices in between, but like, throughout the entire playoff season, we were kind of building up energy, and to kind of be at that like culmination, that pinnacle point, and like have it all, you know, we finally able to like relax and like turn like, I don't know, like let our guards down and kind of really enjoy that moment. Like, I just remember the crowd rushing in, like the white sea or like the togas, like those are just such fond memories, just because like we did it, we could enjoy ourselves after that, and be proud of everything that we had accomplished, all the ups and downs, you know, like seeing like, oh, like they're undefeated 21-0, like must have been pretty like straightforward, but no, there were so many challenges. I mean, injuries, like people stepping up to the plate, just like everyone, like coach saying, like it takes a village, like the whole team plus the crowd plus the town, like everything kind of made those like challenges worth it, and like pulling through was really, really special.
So for you, when you first started coaching at Needham, you were coming to a program who just had a winless season, and to try and build up a program and to finally win a state championship, you know, how did you feel?
I mean, it was so cool. You know, it definitely felt a little surreal. You know, and I think what we just tried to keep doing every year was just get a little better. And I think that was such a cool thing to see kind of over the last 7 or 8 or however many years I've been coaching. You know, every season we got a little bit better, and like our record just kept kind of steadily improving. And I was just so proud of that. And then the year before, in 2018, we unfortunately had a really, really tough playoff experience. We got upset in the first round, and it was tough. And I remember the team was so upset. I was upset. I was almost like stunned. It was kind of one of those moments where you sit and you watch it back and you're like, what happened, right? You just kind of try to wrap your head around it. And I remember talking to the team in the A gym, and I was like, you know, let this hurt. Like, let's feel this kind of failure. Let's feel this. Obviously for the seniors, you know, they don't necessarily have the chance to come back and, you know, have a little redemption, but the rest of the team does. And I remember like that just fueled us so much for 2019. It was like we felt getting our butts kicked. I mean, that was a great season for us in 2018. We were like 15-3. We were like the 5th seed. I'm like, this is like, for me, I thought that season was going to be like, now we're going to put Needham volleyball on the map. And then to just kind of choke that first round, it was definitely a really big wake-up call. And honestly, for me, that loss just fueled the entire 2019 season. It was like, let's take on it, let's build, let's keep going. So to then actually have that like failure and that setback, and then see that team be so resilient the next year, I mean, that just made the 2019 experience even that much sweeter, like even that cooler.
It really does take a village, because like we were playing for those girls who had graduated already too, and there's so many people you're playing for that like it, you know, it's a lot of pressure, but it also just gives you like all the motivation that you don't feel like you already have yourself. So I mean, I remember Ted, the bus driver, like he was our bus driver for all of those games, and like was such an important player, but like you wouldn't really hear about that because he's not playing the game, you know, but there's so much more than just, you know, on the court, just the people on the team. So
that's true.
Do you guys look back at this a lot? Like, do you remember it a lot? Yeah.
It's very emotional. It's very emotional.
I'll go back sometimes in our Instagram and like just scroll back and kind of look at it. It is so cool to look at. I mean, it was just such a special group. And I agree with Lila, like the seniors the year before, they had built up such a great foundation. And I think that's such a cool thing about this program is like, it's not, yes, it's like these isolated years and, they are different seasons, but for me, it's like they're just chapters of the same book, and it's like once you're kind of in this program and you're part of that, it's like, that kind of Needham volleyball family, and it just kind of keeps building off of each other every year, which is really special.
And it has. Not even girls,
Yeah.
boys. The whole
Oh my God, the whole
has
thing.
come full circle. It's been crazy.
To be part of something that's like put a girls or a women's sport like in the forefront of a school's sport, culture is like one of the biggest accomplishments. I mean, for me, and I know for all of us, like to ever have experienced. Like that doesn't happen a lot, and we earned it, which is the other thing. Like it wasn't given to us. Like we totally earned it, and we made ourselves known. We made people come to our games, and then to the point where the buses were filled, and there weren't any spots left, and that was like a huge realization of like the power that we held as like strong, capable, amazing girls, like to come together and to have that kind of power was so awesome.
That week back at school was so awesome.
Oh my gosh. I wore my medal.
They were like little celebrities.
At least I did. I brought I wore the shirt, I wore my medal. I was like so excited. I remember my Spanish class,
they were
had like a little
cheered
celebration
on.
for me and Meg. Like they're like, oh, like Felicidades. Like it was just so cool.
My Latin teacher put like a little, like he printed out a little poster on and left it on my chair that was like reserved for state champion, division of state. And I just remember walking in like, what is this life? Like this is the coolest thing ever.
It was so cool. Honestly, that community support after. It was like endless. It really felt endless. It was like the state house, and then we went to the school committee meeting, and then I think you guys came in and did something with us that week, and like it just felt so endless. It was like we were on that, championship tour after. It was, but it was so cool because like Lila said, to be a women's sports team and to get that much recognition, that much support, and what was cool too, it wasn't just when we won. Like we were really getting a lot of that support and a lot of that momentum, and everything from the administration, from Mr. Lee, from Mr. Jackson, like they were like our biggest fans all season long. It wasn't like oh, I think they might win a state title, like let's hop on the bandwagon. Like it kept building as the season went on, and that was really cool.
I'm so excited for the future of Needham volleyball. Like not only the girls but the boys, because I remember when I was in 6th grade, one of my first experiences with volleyball was watching that 2015 boys game, and I think that really got me into volleyball. I think I remember at the end of 6th grade, my math teacher, Mr. Liner, had us write down goals for high school, and I was like, all 4 years I'm gonna win a state championship, all 4 years. And I remember going into high school, I was my guidance counselor was like, oh, what's the big goal for you for high school? I was winning a state championship, So I think big moments like that really push the younger generation, or I don't know, younger kids to I don't know, also work really hard. And I know that now there are a lot of young 5th graders and 6th graders who are already so talented and are working really hard and PhD, Rocket Camp, all of that. So I know that Needham volleyball's future is really bright. I'm so excited.
I have a little sister, and I know all of her friends are her and all of her friends are so into it. And to think about that game too, the 2015 boys game, that was the game for me that really changed things. And I was like, this is different. This is a different sport. This is a different culture. I want to be part of this. I want to make myself part of this. I want to leave some sort of legacy. And I know that those games that we're watching now are those games for the younger girls. And they remember moments, and they remember coming to games in full face paint, and those are those moments for them. And it's so cool to have given that something so special and something so sacred that we experienced to younger generations and younger kids.
It's a full circle moment.
Totally.
Speaking of, you do have a younger sister who is currently on the team, who is part of the 2021 state championship. Do you think you guys would be such a volleyball family if you weren't in Needham?
Yes. My mom played volleyball in college, and so I remember being I don't know how old, just in the backyard, seeing my mom and dad pass the ball around, watching them when I was little, like going out, doing a few, then getting bored, going back in, and then eventually it just stuck. And then my like family will play like 2v2 tournaments with each other. So yeah, but definitely like the Needham community has been like great, like the like support and everything, and like coach and everything, like and my teammates.
We love the Streepers.
The Streeper sisters are fun to watch
Iconic,
together.
for sure.
So iconic.
Yeah.
It's been a great experience
Yeah.
at Needham, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Does anyone else have anything they want to mention?
I don't know.
Just like the impact of volleyball as a sport on like its players. I think all of us have really grown from the sport, and it's great to like Lila said, to like have volleyball kind of be pushed center stage.
Yeah.
You know, a lot of the time, like volleyball is such a growing sport, but you know, before it wasn't really. It was like focused on soccer, football, all of that. You know, but to have volleyball like be so big, and for us to kind of play a little part in that, but also get so much from it. Like we received so much love and growth, and I mean, like it's helped me in college. Like I play on the club team, and I've made so many friends and like met so many people, and I think it like the legacy of this season and also volleyball in general is like a huge impact on all of our lives.
I mean, like volleyball in New England is like not really a popular sport, but like after a few like state championships, I was like coaching this camp, and this girl was like 5th grade maybe, and she had a sister who's a freshman in high school, or going to be a freshman this year, and she was like, I have your roster saved on my wall from the 2021 state championship, and I was like, I'm not gonna cry right now. Yeah, it was adorable. But it's like the impact that we had on like 5th graders, like not even kids entering high school. It's just amazing.
I mean, like you can't leave a team like that and not be a changed person. I mean, like the impact, the power that had, it's like it stays with every single one of us. It might like manifest itself in different ways, and you know, some people keep playing, some people might coach, some people like will watch and just like, you know, kind of relive their glory days. But you know, whatever it is, like it's changed all of us for the better, for sure, and it's empowered me to know that like I'm capable, and I can, if I really apply myself, I can do anything, and I'm sure that that's a similar kind of takeaway from being on a team that's so successful and so just fun girls. Yeah.
Bonds for a lifetime.
Bonds for a lifetime.
Even if we don't like talk to each other all the time, like there's always moments where like, oh, like I'm texting someone and like, hey, let's catch up. Like, and it's just like not even just reliving like those good times, but also just like building off of the bonds that we made during that season is just so great.
Yeah. Just to say something for you guys, 2019 was my first year here at the Needham channel. Really? So like having that experience as my first year, like being a part of it, I was like, wow, if every team is like this, this is gonna be fun.
And you've grown with us,
right?
Set the bar at the ceiling.
Yeah.
I know, and then you have the boys season in the spring.
So I'll always remember
Totally.
this team too. Yeah, super fun.
Thank you.
So you guys won in 2019, and then all of you came back for 2020. Unfortunately, this season was cut short, but you guys did play that 12-game season undefeated, and then won another state championship in 2021. So how did like the culture of this team propel you guys to have such success going years further?
Yeah, I mean, the COVID year was so tough, obviously. You're coming off of so much momentum and so much excitement. And, you know, we got on the bus after that state title game in 2019, and everyone's cheering. And I was like, okay, guys, you know it's better than one state title, two, because it was like we just, you know, we can't, again, like I just don't ever want to be a team that's complacent. Like, yes, let's be proud, let's, you know, be excited, but like we got work to do. You know, we are graduating incredible seniors who were fantastic, who played a huge role, you know, in this team. So what is 2020 going to look like? So I was super excited. I mean, these guys literally hit the ground running. Like it was like after, you know, the celebration tour and all of that stuff that we had talked about happened, it was like back in the gym, back in club season, back in those camps, back in training. And like they were so motivated for that 2020 season because now you have to defend your title. And then obviously COVID happened in March, and everything just became so uncertain. It really, to watch the boys' season get canceled that year was just like heartbreaking, because they had a great chance at a state title run that year. And so we, kind of went into the fall like, we don't know what's going to happen, but like, let's not take anything for granted. Then the season got delayed 2 weeks, and then it was like a month, and then it moved to fall 2. And, I gotta say it was, your senior class, with Lila and Karen's group, that really, they just kept such a positive attitude, and so, it's such a disappointing feeling, but they really did a great job at not letting it show too much. I think it really brought, your group of seniors really close together. And, every year we have kind of a hashtag, a slogan, a motto, and that year it was just everything counts. Everything matters. And even if it's not the same season, even if we're not going for a playoff run, I mean, we had tons of conversations about that. We have a culture to protect and to keep building, and we have momentum to keep going. We have a legacy to keep going. This is, I remember, I'm like, this is not just a throwaway season. This is not just a, yeah, let's have some fun. We're happy to be in the gym. Let's play 12 games. Let's do our best. It was like, no, we're going to take what we just did in 2019. We are going to build off of that, and we're going to use that. And I attribute so much of our 2021 success to the 2020 season, because that could have been a huge dip for us. And, it's a testament to these guys, honestly.
Yeah. I remember just all those conversations. We'd have like group FaceTimes with Karen, Meg Allen, and Coach and myself, and we were just kind of going back and forth 2 weeks again, the kind of uncertain time that beginning the fall season was, and then I don't know, we kind of shifted our focus a little bit, and it became a lot about having a successful season, but it was also like, we have an opportunity that not a lot of other captains have to kind of take control a little bit and create a narrative that is fun and create an atmosphere that people want to join, because this won't last forever, and like we can take that opportunity. So I remember we would meet at DeFazio and hold workouts, that optional workouts that kids could come to. Prospective high school kids, freshmen, sophomores, some people that were on the team too. And then, COVID got worse and we moved to Zoom. And so like, I don't know, it was a lot of, a lot of adjusting and pivoting and kind of like taking things as we could get them, and trying the best with what we could get at the time. And it wasn't a lot, but I think we really kind of proved our leadership and proved that we earned that spot, and we wanted nothing more than to just be in a room full of people watching us play, but we couldn't do that. So what's the next best thing? Let's win every single game and like have our parents watch online. And so it was a lot of adjusting and pivoting, but when people ask like, what was COVID like for you? Like that was the biggest upset for me, and I think for all of those other seniors.
Yeah, it was definitely tough. I just remember like the feeling of it getting pushed back, I mean, I was forever grateful that we were able to have a season, because I just remember the 2020 boys season, I mean, we knew a bunch of those seniors, and they were so excited to play for a state title, and for them to not have anything at all is just devastating. So to get 12 games was like already really great, and I think we had that sense of urgency to like not waste any time, because like those 12 games are a gift given to us that we can use to grow even more and get better. So I think we did that, and there were definitely some challenges. I remember I was injured and like didn't play the best, but it was just still such a really good experience, and I think it brought our team and community closer together, because we had the time to like reach out to the freshmen, even if it was through Zoom, and trying to like, I don't know, just have a closer community.
Yeah, definitely. I also remember that year, the boys seniors, so when we were seniors, the boys team and those seniors, we kind of like had this funny bond that like we both
got so close.
We got really close, and we had this like kind of shared experience of having a changed season, and really fighting for every game and really fighting for the opportunity to play. And that kind of brought us a lot closer together. So when we talk about community, like that I think is one of the biggest, communities that like we've built is like the bond between the girls and the boys team, and like we're rooting for each other, and they really had to fight for their season too and have fight for their playoff season. But I remember they came and commentated all of our games. They were fighting. There were like they weren't allowed to watch as fans, so they were like anything to get in the gym, and we did the same. And like I remember me and a couple other seniors would go and fight to get in, and commentate their game, and it was just so fun, and it was a great time. Like even given the struggles, given the fact that we didn't have a playoff season, it was still like such an amazing experience. Yeah.
It's such a good point. Like that year really brought our team close together. I mean, I think that's one of the group of seniors I'm probably the closest with. I mean, I love all of our graduating seniors, but I just felt so connected to that group. And you're right, I think it really brought the boys and girls teams really close together that year.
Yeah.
For sure, yeah. Even just watching you guys, I think out of all the Needham programs, the girls and boys volleyball teams support each other like the most in opposing seasons. So that was really fun to watch.
And we hold all of the volleyball state championships. So
it's very true.
Currently.
Right.
But yeah, still. I mean, like that connection, like success comes out of that kind of connection and that kind of bond. So it's so cool to like be supporting a team that's like so powerful.
Right.
And they do the same for us. It's great.
We like inspire each other.
Definitely. Yeah.
Speaking of the 4 straight, another one is yours, Ellie. You were a part of
Yeah,
that. The 2021 run is like a whole separate Rockets Classic. That run was insane too. But just to ask you, you've been a part of all of it, the 2019, the COVID season, and the 2021. How do you think the 2019 like shaped you into helping you? Because I know you guys were expected to be good in 2021, but I don't think people were expecting you
I don't think we expected
to be
that.
as great as you were. So how did that help you?
Well, I just remember Coach gave us like goal sheets for the year, and it was like, what are your like goals for the season, things to work on, and I remember putting for the goal win states, period, underline.
I remember that so well.
Yeah, and I mean, I guess it worked, but like what happened during the 2019 state championship is it like made it almost like possible, like, oh, we can do it again. Like it wasn't so like unreachable. It was like kind of like the 2019 state championship was kind of like anticlimactic because it was like we got as far as we could go, and then it was like, oh, that's it, like there was no more like time with the seniors, and like then we had the 2020 pandemic like fall 2 season, so everything was just like cut short, it felt like. And then the 2021 state championship was like time to prove ourselves. Like we really used the 2020 season as like motivation, kind of like all gas, no brakes, the motto for that year.
I think it was so nice and helpful to have Ellie on that team because she, had been through it. She was the most experienced player in the program at that point. You had that experience, you had that leadership, you had that poise. And I think, the rest of the team really look to her in a lot of ways because, as Lila mentioned this about Ellie, like you have a very, calm, exterior to you, and I think a lot of the team was able to kind of pull off of that. It's like, oh, well, if Ellie's okay, then like we're all okay. It was like Ellie was like our temperature check, and I think so much of that comes from, your experience in all 3 seasons. It's like you had been there, you knew what it took, and so the rest of the team was kind of able to look to her in that way. It's definitely helpful for me too. I mean, she was that for me. I'm like, okay, Ellie's good. Like we would like, Ellie and I would like look at each other, we're like, okay, we're good.
Yeah. I mean, the 2021 state championship too was like such like a team effort. Like everybody like stepped up and helped. Like I remember just like all the seniors, because we had so many seniors this past year that it was just like everybody kind of had like a senior and like a buddy, like a little underclassmen buddy.
Yeah, it was a big team.
It was definitely a team effort. Yeah,
it was a big team.
The community this year was just great. I loved it. Yeah.
Another thing I want to add is just I think so much comes from practice, but I also think so much comes from like the moments that, are in the margins of practice. One of the things that I'm thinking about are like the meetings that we have before we start actually playing during practice. And all of that I attribute to coach, and like just creating the bond and creating the energy and creating the drive to want to win, because not everyone comes into the gym, with that energy or had a bad day, but it's so intentional that we walk in and you drop everything at the door and you put everything on the court, and creating that atmosphere is, I think you can attribute that to all of our success, because the pre-game speeches that we write as seniors, it's like there's so many things that, like, if I were to describe to a stranger like how many things like we do as a traditions and stuff like that, like it would be, the list just goes on and on.
A whole book.
Yeah, exactly. I should do that. But like every single one of those things kind of helps create that atmosphere and that drive and that want to win. So I think that's just as important as some of the bigger moments too.
Yeah, there's a lot off the court.
There's a lot off the court. Yeah.
Sure.
And that's going to do it for this edition of Rockets Classics. I hope you all enjoyed it as much as we did. So for the 2019 Division I Girls Volleyball State Champions, I'm Kristen Connors signing off. Until next time.